Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy May. I think this means that it's officially almost summer. My name's Andrew, your friendly neighborhood developer advocate here at DevCycle, and I am so excited to be back for another feature focus today here on the DevCycle Twitch channel. So I'm really love these feature focus streams, and I'm going to talk about all the reasons that I love those in just a minute. But one of the biggest reasons that I love them is I get the chance to connect with some amazing folks on the DevCycle team who have been around here a lot longer than I, but are doing some really exciting things. And so I am thrilled to be joined today by our resident developer evangelist, developer extraordinaire, Mark Allen. Mark, I'm going to pull you onto the stream. How is it going today, Mark?
Hey, Andrew.
How's it going?
So I'm sitting outside today. The window behind me is actually my office. So I've moved about 10 feet forward to be outside and enjoying the lovely British Columbia weather, which I'm sure you're also enjoying as well. So my background, I've been using feature flags for about the last 10 years. I got introduced to them when I started working at a company called Hootsuite, and they revolutionized the way that I talk to developers, work with developers, develop my own code. And since then, I've spent a lot of time working with teams that I've run, customers teams, other teams that I've interacted with, to help them to kind of understand how to implement feature flags into a developer experience to make the developers' lives easier. Because at the end of the day, as a developer, what I want to do is I want to write code. I don't want to be worried about whether or not what I'm about to release is going to break production. I don't want to have to wait for a whole bunch of other people's work to be done in order for my work to get moved to production. I want to be able to know what's going on. I want to be able to turn things on and off as I see fit. And most importantly, I want to be able to hand over all this functionality to my product manager so they can actually release the software that I built for them.
I love it. Thanks for that. So chat, Mark and I had a chat before, and I was like, Mark, do an introduction of yourself, and then I will go and check and make sure all the audio things are working. So thank you for that introduction. And chat, welcome. I know we got some folks that are on the stream. If you want to just let us know in chat how audio's sounding, how the background music is sounding, if you think that we're looking particularly suave and debonair this morning with our West Coast sunshine, you can also feel free to throw some things in there. I'm sure both Mark and my ego could always use a little boost. Amazing. Thank you so much, Vic. And before I give a little bit more of an intro kind of to what the show is about and all that, I also want to say, while we're really excited to have Mark here, if you are a follower of us on Twitter or on Discord, you may have heard that we were going to be joined by the one and only Vic this week on our stream, one of our product managers at DevCycle. Unfortunately, he wasn't available to make it, but he'll be able to make it for another one. And the extraordinary Mark is here, and I'm really excited. I got to say, Mark, you also you beat out. So Kobe really wanted to be back on Feature Focus this week, and I was like, no, Kobe, you know what? We gotta give some other folks a chance to get on stream. But Kobe may be back because he's excited. It was great to do the stream with him last month.
Wow, I got to beat out both Kobe and Vic, so that's fantastic. And prior to me being sort of a developer experience evangelist, I worked as the head of engineering at Taplytics, which is the parent company for DevCycle, and I got to work a lot with Vic and Kobe. So I have lots of stories I can tell about what it's like to work with them as product managers and product owners. Maybe we can go into that as we're going through some of these features. I can pepper some
I love it.
Some stories in there.
I love it. So if you have just happened upon this stream, if you were just on Twitch this morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and you saw this thing that said feature focus, and you were like, I like features and I'm focused, and you wanted to see what was going on, welcome to Feature Focus, a monthly live changelog stream where we, the team from DevCycle, share features that we're excited about that have been released either in the past month or just like have been released and we haven't gotten a chance to talk about them in a really big way. So each stream or each month, I suppose, each stream, we're going to talk about 3 or 4 features and then give you a chance for Q&A to vote or let us know about some features that you're really excited about that are coming up. And because bribery is always a good way to keep people around, we will also be giving away some gift cards at the end of the stream. So if you want to find out how, you can either watch the VOD for the last stream or you can stick around to the end and yeah, we'll be doing some gift card giveaways. If you are just happening upon this stream, you may also be asking yourself, what is a DevCycle? I have never heard of this DevCycle, and I'm very curious about what it is. DevCycle, I'm going to throw over to Mark for this one because I did this on the last one, and I'm going to throw to Mark because he kind of gave it away in his introduction. Mark, what exactly is DevCycle?
So DevCycle is a feature flag tool, and so what it allows a development team and a product organization, and quite frankly, the entire organization, is to be able to turn on and off different parts, features, components of your application, whether or not it's a web app or a mobile app or an API, and based upon just turning them on and off, just globally for everyone. But I think what's really important about feature flagging is that it's about turning it on and off for specific users. So I, as a developer, I love using feature flags, and I tell this to everybody. If it's the one tool that you want to implement for your developers, implement feature flags. Because what it allows you to do is, I, as a developer, say, hey, I got this new component I'm building. So I'm going to put it behind a feature flag. So while I'm developing it, I can just show it to myself. So I have it available to me. And then when I'm kind of ready to integrate it with the rest of my team, maybe a back-end component or another front-end component, I can turn it on for the team I work with. And then, when I'm ready to show it to my product manager, I can show it to them. And all this time, this code is actually getting released into production. I'm not waiting for everything to be done. So our continuous delivery pipeline is every time I merge into main, it's going to prod. So I can show it to, my product manager in production. My product manager can now take it over and show it to a friendly customer to say, hey, is this what you really need? Is this how you want to see this working? And get some feedback while we're still building it. So I can continue building it. We can get it right. And then eventually, when it's ready to go live, we can, we're maybe not sure, is this going to, is our infrastructure going to be able to handle the capacity of this? Or, oh, God forbid, what would happen if, we're launching this on a Friday? Am I going to spend all weekend waiting for errors to come in? No, I can launch the feature flag. I can turn it on for a certain amount of traffic, and if everything's looking good, I can keep turning it up to more and more users. And God forbid, if something goes wrong, I can just turn it off. So my entire weekend isn't ruined. If something goes wrong on a Friday, I can turn it off and say, hey, something's bad. I need to go and investigate this further. And then I can go back to turning it on for myself, trying to figure out why it's not working right. So it really gives me that ability to, as I like to tell people, it's coding with a safety net, right? If something goes wrong, I just turn the feature flag off, right? But most importantly is I can give it to people really soon, and they can see how it's going, and we can iteratively build it, which I find helps speed up the whole development process.
Yeah, 100%. And so I've discovered the risk of on a personal project that has about 100 users on it, of not having feature flags in it, because I had a feature that just did not work. And the only solution that I had was to say, click the team-based feature flagging thing that I built in. But I, as the developer and as this product owner, had no way to actually go in and turn off this feature universally. So you end up in this space where you have to then go and build a quick feature to fix the feature.
Yeah, it's the use of feature flags, and it's so easy to do, because it's just, at the basis sense, it's just an if statement in your code. You say, if the feature flag is on, do this. Else, do what we used to have. And it really kind of gives you that ability then to turn it on and off in a console. So you don't have to be a developer. So if a product manager wants to change the text in a field, if they want to do an A/B experiment or something like that, they're doing it all within the DevCycle console. You don't need to build extra tooling for them to do all this. It's already there. If you want to put a banner at the top of a page that says to your users, "Hey, we're giving you 25% off today," or come to our live stream and you'll get a gift card. Doing things like that, you can put that in the hands of your marketing people, and they can go into the DevCycle dashboard and they can make those changes. They can turn on the banner message. They can make it available to people who are in North America or people who are in Europe or in Asia. And they get to see that message.
Yes, love it, man. As you can imagine, as a feature flagging company, chat, we are a big fan of feature flags. We can talk about feature flags all day. But today, our features are not just the flags themselves, but they are all of the places and all of the ways that you can integrate feature flags into your flow. The name of the game today is in fact integrations, and it's been a pretty busy last little while for new integrations that are being released. I can hear like a crow in the background, and it makes it so West Coast.
Yeah,
it's so West Coast. No, I love it. Keep it there. They're like part of the stream. My cat will eventually come out.
Yeah, my cat has already wandered around out here to try and see what are you doing outside? This is the morning. Yeah, we yes, those are the local ravens actually, and so we also have a local eagle, but you don't hear the eagle coming.
Generally. So I'm gonna get our screen share up here. Which do we want to do? Do we want to do this one? I think this is like the only option that we get. Oh no, maybe this one. Ooh,
oh,
which do we want? That one's nice.
Let's try that. Let's try this one.
All right, we'll try this one.
Stay with this until it cuts off something we need to see.
Exactly. So so one of the nice things, so obviously we're talking about integrations, but we're also talking features. And so one of the nice things is you don't need to tune in to these streams, although we love to have you here to learn about all the new features, because if you have an account set up over on DevCycle, and if you don't have an account set up over on DevCycle, by the way, free to sign up, no credit card information needed. You will actually see when you log in this awesome little bell up here with our view changelog, and you can see all of our kind of new features as they're rolling out. And like Mark said, we are a continuous delivery house, which means that we are continuously delivering features, and we obviously don't have time to talk about all of them here on stream in like an hour. So you can see here, there are a lot of things, and maybe we'll talk about these in our next stream. But one of the first features that new features that I want to talk about today when we're talking about integrations is our new open feature Node.js provider. So if you have been lurking on our docs recently or following us on social media, you'll notice that we at DevCycle are big open feature fans. What is open feature? You may ask yourself. It's an open standard that's meant to provide a vendor agnostic API for you to add feature flagging into your project. So maybe you are using a provider right now, a service, and they've got their own API set up, and you're like, but I want to move to this other company, this new company that's just come out, DevCycle, and you want to know how. Well, the great thing about open feature is it actually makes the process of switching between these different providers a lot easier, and it's actually by the same team that's kind of spearheading this that is behind open telemetry. So if you are in sort of the data monitoring, logging world, it's the same team that sort of has been making open telemetry happen, that is kind of leading the charge here with the open feature provider. So, Mark, why does this matter? Like, why do we care about having our? I mean, obviously, we only have one right now, but why do we care, and why is this important that we are like working to kind of integrate DevCycle a little bit more with open feature from like a developer perspective? Do you think?
Yeah, so I just sort of first want to say that as an engineering manager, you're always a little skeptical of new things, new tools, new things. I mean, like I said, I've been using feature flags for a decade, so to me, feature flags aren't new. But I'm sure to a lot of people who are here, this is new. Like they might have heard of it before. They might have heard of feature toggles, and they might have implemented some in a config file or some simple system. But you're like, I'm not really sure. Like, is this just the latest hotness, or is it going to come and go? But I think that once an organization like Open Feature comes around and says, hey, we're going to do for feature flags what we did for telemetry, it's here. Like it's here to stay. Like observability is such a huge thing in our world, and I mean, I can't wait till we show the Datadog piece. And we all use it now. We all use it to be able to understand how our code is actually executing in production. And open telemetry has given us the ability to use, doesn't matter if I'm using Datadog or Sentry or whatever, I can still get that observability. And so here we're seeing the same thing with open feature, that feature flags are a thing in modern software development. In my opinion, everyone should be using them. So because open feature exists, it says to me, hey, this is a real thing. You don't need to pick a vendor to get started. That's the other thing I like about this is I can just use the open feature, just the basic system that comes with it, and I can give feature flags a try. I can get my team to try it out without having to pick a vendor, without having to worry about migrating in the future. I can just set this up and say, hey team, look, we can use feature flags right now. But the real power in this is that it integrates into into DevCycle. Like there you go. There's Togglebot right there with a bunch of other feature flagging tools. And so I can then take this experience of using open feature, and then I can extend it into one of these tools, into DevCycle, and continue to use it and continue to sort of get the power of this working. But I really think that it just gives me, as an engineering manager, that comfort that here is a vendor agnostic way of putting something into my application, and I can try it out, and I can see, then I can really sort of see that it works for my team, and I can produce these things that increase the number of deployments we can do to production, can decrease the amount of time it takes for us to recover from an error. All of these kind of great things that we're looking to improve inside our engineering organization.
Yeah. And it's so interesting too, right? Because there's so much power in all of the vendors in platforms like DevCycle and the other ones that are kind of listed down here. But yeah, you do end up having these kind of switches you need to make, and technical debt when you bring on feature flagging is often sort of am I going to have to worry not only about cleaning up the flags, but like how those SDKs work and all the rest of these things. And really the goal here with open features, you can see here, it's not super easy to see. Let me zoom in here. It's just like a really simple SDK. And if you look at this and you've seen the DevCycle SDKs, you'll be like, oh, that looks really similar. But the one thing that this does that obviously vendor specific SDKs don't do is allow for you to kind of plug and play as you need some of the features that are on these platforms. So last week we were talking, or last month, I guess, we were talking a lot about the sort of feature grouping and variables and variations and all that stuff that you get with DevCycle. And that's a thing that's really unique to us. And so maybe you didn't need that to start with, and so you're with another vendor, but now you're like, oh, I really want to get this. Well, as long as right now you're using Node.js and it's a front-end app, then you are good to go. If you're using anything else, things are coming down the pipeline, but we wanted to get out there and get some stuff available for folks. And I know our team's really excited about being part of this.
Yeah, it's a great group, and I just love the fact that it's kind of a group of people got together and said, listen, we need to create a standard for feature flags, so that as a developer and as an engineering manager, that I'm not having to have my team learn a completely different esoteric way of managing feature flags if we have a different vendor. that now this is going to become standardized. And so those of us who are vendors are going to start to say, okay, this is a common way of doing things. Let's do it this way, right? And that makes it just easier for a developer to move from one company that uses one feature flagging tool to another company that uses a feature flagging tool, or to come and implement a feature flagging tool inside an organization, because it's like, here's an open standard way of doing this. And we can all follow along and we can all get the benefits.
Totally. And it's interesting. So I will say that the reason, so we're talking about open feature a lot because it's really cool, but also like they're helping to spread the word, to evangelize the word of open feature. And I think I'm going to let you in on a top secret thing here that maybe I shouldn't be letting you on. I know that they are right now working on putting together like a group or a panel, and I think to maybe go and present some places about feature flagging from sort of a lot of these vendors and the folks that are involved. So stay tuned, because DevCycle will definitely be being involved in that. And of course, if you head over, just openfeature.dev is where to find them. You can get links to everything, tutorials, all of this stuff. But obviously, if you are a DevCycle user and you're wanting to try this out and you're a Node.js user, you can actually just head over to our docs. And I'm going to zoom out here because our docs are a little bit ugly in that, and like the 120 zoom in. But if you go into our Node.js SDK, you'll get some information on our open feature provider. I'm actually going to throw this in. I don't need that UTM stuff. I'm going to throw this in chat for anybody that's here, that's checking this out afterwards. And you can actually check out our open feature provider. And it's a pretty straightforward step-by-step. If you've used DevCycle before, we're already pretty easy to use. We've definitely, little error there. That's the first time I've seen that. Let's try it again. There we go. So there's the link if you want to check out our provider. If you've used DevCycle before, you've noticed that we've really focused on making this really easy to add to your code already. And so this is just sort of an extra step, but also helps you if you want to try some other providers.
And also, this example is mostly a back end, so an API level example. Because so much I talk to people about front end, because front end, it's so easy because it's visual. It's like, I can turn on this button, I can change this, I can change the button, I can change the button text, I can add a banner to a page. I can, and I talk a lot about web because I've spent a lot of my career as a full stack developer, but it also includes mobile as well. There's no reason to say that you can use DevCycle inside your iOS or Android application. But you can also use it inside your API. So if you're an API first vendor and you create APIs for your customers to provide data or whatever service that you have, you can use feature flags in there. So you can provide them different access, different types of data. You can even use feature flagging as a way of turning on and off different features inside the API based upon that particular user's billing status. So if they're a free user, you're not going to give them access to certain pieces of data, but if they're a team user, you can give them a little bit, and then enterprise users can give them even more. So you don't have to go and build in all this functionality to manage what data you send back. You can get started by utilizing a feature flag tool to do that for you. So and then maybe in the future you build that infrastructure, but it's just a great way of getting past the hurdles of how do I just give this out to one user or these specific users.
Nice.
Use feature flagging. It's a great way to solve a lot of problems.
Love it. And hey, thanks for the shout out, Corny Hang. Thank you for a nice job showing up to our stream today. Not sure who you are, if you're part of the DevCycle team or not, but thank you for tuning in. Either way, we're excited to have you here, chatting all things features and integrations from the past month. All right, so we've talked a little bit about open feature. Well, a lot about open feature. But I think maybe the logical segue, and I didn't even realize this when I was doing it, was we were talking about open feature, and it was like it's from the team that is open telemetry, and telemetry involves organizations like Datadog. And we also happen to have a Datadog integration. That's a segue.
There you go.
There we go. So yeah, let's take a look at that. And just if you're interested in this, if you're like, oh, I'm interested in your integrations, and there are way more than what we have that we're talking about today. If you head over to docs.devcycle.com, and if you are not sure how to spell that, or just you want a quick link, just putting it up on the screen here now, head over to docs.devcycle.com, and then click on the tools and integrations section there. And yeah, you'll get brought over to our current tools and integration. So a couple of things we're going to talk about, I think, in our next stream. We're really excited about our new CLI. Well, not new CLI, but like our continually developing CLI, and our
Yeah,
feature flag.
I really, looking forward to that, because I think that as a developer who spends most of their time in a terminal window, because I use Vim as an IDE, because it's the only editor that you're guaranteed to have on any machine you end up in. So being able to do all these things that we can do inside the user interface, doing that on the command line, just speeds up what I do. I can create shortcuts. I can, integrate it into the IDE that I have. So I can view feature flags. I can create them. I think it's just a great addition to the suite of tools that we have.
Absolutely. So like I said, you can see here at the very bottom, one of our newest integrations, and huge shout out to our VP engineering, Nick, who was like the biggest. I mean, I know our engineering team is all worked on this, but I know this is a big project from Nick. So shout out there for making this happen. But yeah, so our Datadog Rum integration, and you're like, Rum integration, what exactly is that all about? Well, this is actually an exciting kind of development in the world of Datadog. So we had actually found out a little while ago that Datadog had really been focusing on providing space for feature flag providers to integrate within the platform. And so there's a few other players that had been doing this already, a few other providers. And so we discovered that this was an opportunity for us to kind of get into this world of having some more of these integrations. So we now can be easily integrated into Datadog if you're looking to track sort of your feature flag evaluations. Now, there are obviously analytics that are built into the DevCycle platform as well. You can see these things within platform, but we're not a logging company. We're not a telemetry company. We're a feature flagging company, and so we want to let you access these really powerful telemetry tools so that you can do that in a really powerful way. And so yeah, like Mark, why Datadog? Like, why not just sort of use our built-in analytic stuff? What do you think?
Yeah. So I think one of the key things that I bring, when I talk to engineering teams about the things that you need to have, and one of the area is centralized logging and exception management. And so Datadog provides that centralized logging of all the data that is running inside my application. So I can create dashboards and I can visualize it. I can go to one place and I can see everything that I have there. And so by adding in now feature flags into the same tool, I don't have to go to a different dashboard, log in, look, dig in, find out where that is. It's in the dashboards that I already have. So before I talked about, what can I do, with feature flags, in the case of an emergency, like when something doesn't work, I can turn it off, right? So I can see inside my dashboard, that I have a problem, and then I can go to the same dashboard. So I'm still inside Datadog, looking at this error, and then I can go over to the feature flags and see, well, what feature flags are currently being evaluated, right? Can I turn one of these off in order to recover from this error? So it's about having all the data in the same place. And then, and then that also provides a whole bunch of other kind of side benefits as well. Which feature flags are being used? Because what everybody always asks me, like, well, if I add feature flags, I now have to go and clean it up. I'm going to create, I got debt. No one likes debt. No one likes to add things and then have to take them away. But this will show you where they are, like what flags are no longer being evaluated. Right? You can go in there and know that, yeah, I can take this code away because it's not being used. No one has it. We've rolled this feature out, or maybe we've turned this feature off, and now we can get rid of it because no one ever used it. So, this gives me all that kind of access to that data, right, all in the same place, the place that I'm already getting my telemetry and observability from.
Totally. And I love it, to be honest with you, one of the things that I love is we're a developer folk. I mean, everybody says that developer focused company, but we're a developer tool with a developer company. We eat our own dog food, right? So we're using feature flags to develop feature flags. And so we're using all of these integrations and tools ourselves. But because of that, we really focus on how can you integrate this into your DevCycle workflow if you're already using DevCycle in a really meaningful and easy way. And so like obviously not everybody's using JavaScript, but like you can get an idea here of like just how easy it is to actually add this into your project if you're using DevCycle already. So it's really just a little bit of extra code that's added into your already use of our SDKs, and I think really easy usage. Like this is not an intimidating like addition into the platform. And yes, this is like to get all of the variables, but even just to grab like individual variables and track those over to Datadog, it's pretty smooth and clean to get it in there.
Yeah, you're really only adding a couple of lines of code, right? Which is easy. So it means you can go and try it out, right? You know, maybe you're not sure, maybe you don't know exactly how this can work inside your organization, but you can just give it a shot. You can go in, you can add a line of code, roll it out to production, and start seeing the data flow in. And then from there, you can sort of build your own dashboards that kind of fit the needs of your organization. It doesn't matter, is it the developers that look at Datadog? Is it operations? Is it, can we build one for our PMs so that they can see what flags are being used? Marketing, all this data is now in one place. In the platform that you've invested in order to do your telemetry. And so we're just providing a little bit more data in there.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're really wanting to like go full meta, not Meta the company, but Meta into the concept, you could wrap your integration of the Datadog integration in a feature flag. So just like wrap your feature flag in a feature flag and then evaluate that feature flag and or demonstrate the evaluations on Datadog. So just I'm pretty sure that breaks something, potentially the universe. That's like Google in Google.
Yeah, that seems a little deep. Yeah.
Maybe not deep, very shallow, actually, very shallow, and very deep, very shallow, and probably not the smartest life decision. But anyways, you can check this out. I'm just gonna throw this link in chat for anybody that's checking out the stuff as we're kind of going through. But we've got examples in JavaScript, we've got examples in React. And then, yeah, looks like we're looking to do some things in iOS and Android in the upcoming months and years as well. So stay tuned to our integration page here. If you are asking yourself, you're like, I'm here for feature folks and I want to see some code. Don't worry. We'll be back in 2 weeks. It was a little bit delayed this month because of just lots of busyness on stuff that DevCycle's up to. But I'm going to be doing my first Does It Toggle stream, which will be like our live coding stream where I'm going to try and maybe test out some of these integrations, see if they are, in fact, as easy to use as I think. Unfortunately, I have the worst possible preferred programming language. And none of this will help me. So I'm going to see if I can figure it out.
And what language is that?
I want you to guess, Mark. What do you think? This is like a universally hated language, and it's not JavaScript.
Oh no, boy. You can do this in PHP.
I am. That is my. I know. So I'll probably end up using React, but yeah, everything I do, I try to do PHP first.
PHP. I mean, it's still very relevant today because a lot of code was built over the last 15 years plus in PHP. So I know a lot of big sites still run it as particularly a primary front end language. It's got a lot of good uses, but certainly other languages have come out and kind of supplanted it with the sort of modern development. But you can still use, when I started at Hootsuite, that the monolith was built in PHP, and so the entire feature flagging system was implemented in PHP, and so it'll work for you.
Well, you know what's funny? So the framework that I use, that I do a lot of my development in, and this is not a sponsored ad spot. I just love the platform, and the framework is called Laravel.
Yeah.
And so this is like the most modern. It's sort of the best of all of the sort of like full stack frameworks that are out there. I would say it's the best, and definitely having a resurgence now. And it's funny because just before I joined the DevCycle team, they released this new feature that's a built-in feature, that is a feature flag feature built into the platform. It's part of like version 10 that they just released. And so I may be able to do it, but I don't think I'll be able to get some of these integrations yet.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Say Levine.
I've used Laravel as well, and so it's a really strong community.
It
When I
is.
when I moved over to using a Mac M1, the development environment I was using, which was integrated with Vagrant, wasn't working. It didn't work on a ARM processor, and the community got together and someone donated an M1 Mac to the creator of that development framework or development environment for Laravel, so that you could actually so that other people could use it on their M1s. And so that I loved seeing that, right? That
Yeah.
someone didn't ask for money. It's just like, here, just if someone sends me an M1, I'll figure it out. And someone did.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it, right? I think with a lot of these platforms, and I think a big piece of DevCycle and why we're doing these things, right, is about building this community. That's why I fell in love with the language. Is like there's such a huge, welcoming, open community, and they've now built tools around the central tool in other language. So if you're looking to transition, anyways, we don't need to keep talking about PHP. That'll get us canceled 100%. Let's we got a couple more minutes, so we got time for I think one more integration that I think I really wanted to talk about today, and that was our Jira integration. So if you if you are here on the stream and you have never heard of Jira, I would be very, very shocked, because every developer or pseudo developer or person on the internet that I have ever met has heard tales of Jira, whether positive or negative tales.
It is a love-hate relationship with Jira, right? As an engineering manager, I love it because it tells me exactly who's working on what. But as a developer, sometimes you can just get overwhelmed by, oh my God, I got all this stuff to do, right? So it is kind of the de facto tool. Like, even when I describe something like Linear, which is another Scrum or Kanban style tool, I say it's just like it's just like Jira.
It's true. I'm a big Linear fan. But so I'd also like to just I'll take a second before I talk about Linear. But I did notice that our viewers dropped as our conversation went into PHP. So proof yet again that that I should just keep my programming language opinions to myself. So big fan of Linear, big fan of Jira as well. We're big fans at DevCycle of what Jira does. Again, if you've never heard of Jira or you're not sure what it is, it's a ticketing system. So you can use it to kind of break your project into stages and track tickets and work that you're working on. And there's a lot of awesome features that are built into Jira by default, and a lot of integrations that are built in by default. But obviously, DevCycle was not one of them. Mark, why would it be an important thing, do you think, for like development teams or teams in general to be able to integrate feature management and feature flag management into their project management tool?
Yeah. So one of the things that when I talk to my development team about using feature flags, and we always put in our checklist when we're going through backlog grooming is, can we use a feature flag for this? Right? Because it just puts it there, so it's always top of mind. Like, because not everything needs a feature flag, but there are lots of things that can. So we add it there and we say, yeah, we can use a feature flag for this. And what this does is it just enforces that even further by saying, these are the flags that are in use for this. So we have that kind of integration between between the two, right? So that we can see which flags are being used on what tickets. And so if you think that you need to have a specific feature flag, you can create it inside inside DevCycle, and then you can link it into Jira. And so you have that two-way integration. So you know that if you're trying to figure out why you're looking at a list of feature flags, you're like, what is this used for? You can go in and you can say, oh, it's here. It's used for this one. And or this ticket is what created it. This ticket is what managed it. And of course, as you showed there, it can go across multiple tickets. Because I think one of the things I really love about utilizing feature flags is that it's not just for one developer. You don't just create one flag, one developer. You create a flag for a project, or a set of tasks: front end task, back end task, API task, mobile task, right? And they all can use the same feature flag because they're in essence using turning on the same feature for the particular for the users. So here you go. Yep, you're making your way through the user interface to try and get.
Oh, there we go. It took me three tries. So I was going to add it, and then it was like, no, do it again, and then it was add it, do it again. So I figured just while you were kind of like describing it, that we would get like our one live demo of the day, right, of us
Oh, there we go.
in here. So yeah, we're added in here. We've got our app working, and you can see here when we go into our manage app. I mean, obviously it's not showing us very much. Is our app working? It should be working here. Manage app. Oh, it's just loading there. So if I head over to DevCycle, so you can see here, so really this is just sort of adding Jira issue IDs. So I'm going to create a Jira issue on my board here, testing features. All right, let's see if if it is added in here. So you can see here it works. Integration successful. So I don't know if I actually have any
feature flags set
up. We'll see.
Oh, we can create one.
Oh, there we go. So look at this. This is good.
Right.
So maybe you don't have any feature flags that are set up in here. Well, don't worry, because we're here for you. We can go in here, create feature flag. And it's going to bring us right over to the feature flag creation process. Am I logged in? Oh, I guess I just don't have any in this view. All right, so let's create a new feature, create a quick new release feature, testing, because just what our product team needs to see is yet another testing feature. Awesome, so there we go. We got our feature created in there. So if we head back over here and refresh, I'm going to assume I needed to refresh. All right, and let's go add feature flag. And it may be that my accounts are not connected. So let's head over to our docs and see what's going on. So we installed this, we added this, DevCycle, projects, edit project. There we go. Read. This is your note world to read the documentation. So let's head over here. Let's go into our project, personal project. Let's go into our settings and integrations. Jira. Look at all these instructions built into our platform. Let's grab our configuration stuff. So I think I need to grab it from project settings, copy. Oh, in my edit project view. So let's head over there, project, personal. Let's go back here. Let's go settings and client ID. Where am I grabbing it from here? Where am I grabbing that from here? All right, project settings, edit. There we go. It's in our edit view. All right, let's go personal settings, projects. As I'm navigating through, not knowing what's going on, create new project, projects. Where is what we're looking for?
Here, let me.
Our keys, our settings, organization ID. I think that's what we're looking for. Let me jump back over to our docs. Projects, Jira token ID. Projects. Oh, there we go. I just needed to, read the documentation. There we go. Jira token connection. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you are here, to see me struggle through finding a token on the platform for which I work.
It's just under projects.
Just under the place that it literally says in the documentation.
Where it should be.
Exactly where it should be. So let's head over. Let's see. So we got our token there. Paste your Jira token connection into the Jira configuration page. So let's go close. Let's get out of here. I want to get out of here. Help. I need an adult.
Exit.
All right. Exit. Let's get out. Jira, your work. Test project. Project settings. All right. Where we go in to find our integrations. All right, we're going into Jira, configure, DevCycle apps. There we go. Let's go here, apps, manage apps. Bum, 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 bum. All right.
We wait for DevCycle to show up.
We wait for DevCycle to show up. We hope that it shows up. Should show up. Apps. Oh, there we go. I'll just go in here.
There it is.
Oh, beautiful.
There it is.
All right, and access token. There we go. Right. Save. All right, so now
that you have the integration set up,
now that I actually
we should be able to actually see. So, like I said, you know, one of the things that we always did was adding in a specific checklist item to be able to add feature flags. And now with this particular feature, being integrated into Jira, we can do it right there in the backlog grooming session. You know, instead of like, yeah, I'll create the feature flag, you know, at a later date, and we'll decide what the name of it will be. We can just right there in backlog grooming, we can say, yeah, we're gonna call it this, and everyone can agree. So there is no sort of like in the future, someone's like, what is this feature flag? What does this do? Like everyone was in the meeting, everyone got to decide on what the name was, and we put it in right there. And again, someone might be thinking, geez, you know, you're just creating all these feature flags inside your application. Well, I mean, with the integration, we can go back to the ticket that created it, right? So we know where it came from and what it's used for. With the Datadog integration, we can see if it's being used at all, right? With our code cleanup tools, we can go in and find feature flags that are just turned off. And we can go through and again, sort of make this all work for the developers so that it's, you know, we're streamlining the processes that you're using. We're not having to go and utilize different tools. We have integrations into one tool because, again, everybody uses Jira for their projects. So here we are, we've integrated in feature flagging with it so that, you know, we're not having to remember to go into DevCycle and set up the feature flag. It's right there for us.
Absolutely. And you can actually do this both ways. So if you take a look through the documentation, which I definitely, you know what though, I like going through these struggles online because I feel like I feel like platform users will also be like, where can I find this? Now you can watch me struggle through, so you can find it by following the documentation. But you can see here, like once you have this set up and once you've done these integrations, you've got the ability to go in here and actually add integrations from either side. So really powerful features that are built in.
I'm sure Vic is currently wondering how he can rebuild the app so that it's even easier for someone to integrate, so that people don't go through these
the moral of that story is read the docs. I think we got 3 features done. We did a little bit of a live demo of getting one of them set up, which I'm happy that we got it integrated. But I feel like if I go any deeper, I'm going to have deep regrets. But I do want to take a couple minutes just to kind of look at some things that are in the future in a segment. I haven't been using these in a segment that I like to call future features. I forgot all of these other things like this one and this one, but I remember it here. There we go. So future features. We are here. Let's move us over. Let's change us over to this view. There we go. Now we can read everything. And to do that, we're actually going to go and check out our public roadmap. So you can visit our public roadmap by going to this link here, bit.ly/DevCycle roadmap. Do not copy that emoji. And it's going to bring you, oh, that's not the right place either. Bit.ly. All right, let's go bit.ly. Success. Amazing. So if you are over here, you can see a few of the things that are on the pipeline for DevCycle for the next little while. And a lot of these that are kind of very integration focused here. So you can see, this is public, so you can access this at any time, just to kind of see things that we're working on. So what are kind of looking at this, Mark, and maybe you looked at it before, like what are some upcoming features either in the DX side or in the feature lifecycle or targeting that you're kind of excited about seeing in the next little while?
So I think that the GitLab integration, I think a lot of people use GitHub, but there is a huge community out there in GitLab. And I think that it's important for us to be able to integrate in with all these different places that developers work, right? So you don't have to say, oh, well, I can't use all those great tools that DevCycle has for GitHub with, with being able to run actions to show me what features are being used and which ones aren't, being able to, give you developers more insight into the use of feature flags inside their projects. Let's put it in GitLab too. And so that, again, sort of giving us that sort of where developers are, where they're building their code. We want to be there with them, building out those feature flags. And I think also the one I really like, from an onboarding perspective, integration into Okta. All right, Okta is used by so many organizations, both big and small, enterprises and small businesses, and it just being able to say to a developer, yeah, so we got you set up. We use Okta, and we set you up in Jira, in GitHub or GitLab, in Slack, and in DevCycle. So it's all done at once. So there isn't that sort of like 7-step checklist that needs to be done to onboard your new developers when they come on into your organization. It's all automated for you, so that you can then go and log into DevCycle utilizing your Okta credentials. So just making it easier to be able to get people access to the tools that they need to do their job.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, Okta Auth0, I've been playing around the last couple of days for an exciting upcoming thing. I can't tell you anything. I'm forbidden. I'm sworn to secrecy, but for a really cool partnership that we need some integration stuff built out for that's coming up. So I've been playing around in there. So if you've never heard of Okta or Auth0, check them out. Auth0 is owned by Okta, and Okta is much larger, but really, really cool integration. And I think will provide a lot of value there. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about that. And if you're interested in like what that GitLab integration might look like, you can actually head over to the DevCycle docs here, and under our tools and integrations, we actually have a very similar setup for what we're looking at for GitLab already set up for GitHub and Bitbucket. So if you're using like the Jira Bitbucket world, like we've got Jira and Bitbucket set up already. If you're in the GitHub world entirely, we've got that set up for you, but this will be sort of our first foray, really big foray into the GitLab space. So really exciting stuff, I think. Yeah, and then what am I excited about that's on here? I think definitely the integration stuff I'm really excited about. Variable cleanup stuff has been a huge conversation. I was at a conference like a week ago, and all the conversations were about technical debt and like how can a feature flag management platform provide that. So I'm definitely excited about the work that we're doing on cleanup stuff. And we already have a little bit of that in some of our GitHub and Bitbucket integrations, but definitely really, really excited about that. And I'm also freaking excited about our downloadable example applications. So I did onboarding for Auth0 and was not expecting to see a framework. I was expecting I was just going to have to suffer through React as like a demo app. And I was shocked that I could use basically any framework that I wanted for the demo app. And it was like everything was built in there. So I could see exactly how Auth0 is going to work right away. We're working on the same thing. We want to make that developer experience as smooth as possible. And so I'm super, super excited about that too. Yeah, so we've got just a couple of minutes left, but I did want to put out to chat and anybody who's catching the VOD of this stream. Like I said before, we are doing some giveaways. So if you are here and you're like, I would like to win a giveaway, well, I have good news for you. You can, in fact, win that giveaway. So if you head over to our Discord, which you can get by going to bit.ly/DevCycle Discord. This is actually like the quickest link I think that we have right now to get there. It'll bring you over there, accept our invite, open my Discord. Should already have been invited. We'll see what happens. Starting up Discord live on stream will never go terribly. Actually, there we go.
Hey, Discord.
There we go. We got Discord. And if you head over here, oh, look at that. this is happening now. But if you are wanting to join or to win a $20 card, all you got to do is send a message to either me, just at me, or Mark. We are all listed here on this very long list of DevCycle team. Just send us a ping saying, Andrew or Mark, I want to win that gift card, and you'll enter for a chance to win a $20 gift card. And no matter where in the world you are, you can win that gift card because we use an amazing service that makes that possible. Now, I can't see all of you, so I'm going to pull this up again. There we go. So definitely head over, check that out. And also just join our Discord. It is like your one-stop shop. You can literally get access to every single person on our team almost. I'm pretty sure even our CEO is on here, but I don't know if you can easily find him. But all of our tech support people, all of our marketing people, all of our DX people, all of our DevRel people, everybody's on here. So if you've got a problem and you're looking for like, I need support from somebody who's technical, we have technical people that are here and ready to help you. So yeah. So I think that's it. I mean, if you've got some thoughts in chat, feel free, throw them in there because we'd love to hear from you. But as we kind of are kind of at the end of the stream, end of the show, end of the feature focus for this month, Mark, what would you like to say to our amazing viewing audience who stuck around for our stream or who are catching the VOD of our stream as they're kind of going into the next month of feature flagging their tools?
So thanks everybody for spending the time and going all the way to the end. As you can tell, Andrew and I, we talk a lot, and we love talking about this all the things you can do with feature flags. I would say that the one thing that I would love people to take away is that feature flags just really level up your development, your personal development, your development team, your development organization. And the sooner that you start using them, the sooner that you'll see benefits, the sooner you'll be able to deploy to production more often, the sooner you'll be able to reduce the mean time to recovery on failures, the shorter your lead time for getting tickets into production. It just overall impacts every sort of element of your development lifecycle. And and as a development manager, like it helps my team so much. Right, in the early days of working at Taplytics, who are the parent company of DevCycle, there were some questions around implementing feature flags. Like, is this going to help? And almost right away we went from being only being able to push code to production every couple of times, once or twice a week, to being able to push to production a couple of times a day. Right, it just completely changes how you envision what production releases look like, what deploying software looks like, and it just makes things so much easier and so much better. So if you're not using them today, start using them. Download DevCycle, implement it in your project, give it a try, turn it on, create a feature, put it behind a flag, show it to your product manager, just to them, that they can see the benefits right away.
Yeah. And just like, if you're like, what are some ways to use feature flags? And you're like, none of the things that Mark and Andrew talked about today. Our marketing team is like next level with their production of content. Obviously, we're part of the marketing team, and so we have to say that about ourselves. But the other people on the marketing team, and shout out to Terene and Madison and Matt and Dinka and all the other folks that contribute to these things, have put together a lot of great content. So there's this great solutions section of use cases that's on our main website, and you can check that out. Also, if you are looking at like more detailed things, if you head over blog, if you head over to devcycle.com/blog, you can actually find a ton of stuff. One of our marketing creators, Madison, has been working on this spectacular feature flagging 101 series, which walks you through from like soup to nuts. Wait, is that a saying? Soup to nuts. Anyways, it is walking you through the whole process of feature flagging, build or buy, all the rest of this stuff. So be sure to kind of check out our blog. Lots of cool stuff there. I think you can subscribe to our blog or our newsletter as well. So there's lots of, if you head over to the website, you can find all this stuff and lots of buttons to, subscribe to our newsletter at the bottom of the screen here. So if you want to be informed of all of these things. Before we let you all go, thank you so much for watching. If you're looking to stay in touch with all of the things that are going on around DevCycle, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, subscribe or follow or whatever you do here on Twitch, but so you can get the notifications. And then of course, sign up for the platform. DevCycle, free to use up to a certain point. And so definitely worth checking out. And we are here to support you. We're here to help you. The stream will be shared up on the DevCycle Twitch channel. I'll probably also put it up over on YouTube as well if you're looking to check that out. And be back here in 2 weeks for our first Does It Toggle stream, where I struggle through actual code, which is sure to be far more hilarious even than me struggling through finding a settings page on our platform. So if you're looking to just giggle along as someone struggles through programming, that will be the stream for you. But we're going to be doing some cool stuff in there, so be sure to check that out. Thanks so much to everybody for tuning in. We're so excited to be here and to have you all here. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, or we'll see you next month here for the next feature focused stream here on DevCycle's Twitch channel. Thanks, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Andrew.